In case you missed the headlines yesterday, there was some big news about vegetarian diets floating around the internet. New research has just shown that, believe it or not, a vegetarian diet is actually worse for the environment than a meat eating diet. This new study flies in the face of conventional wisdom, and not to mention an entire body of research showing the opposite, that vegan and vegetarian diets are better for the environment. But everyone loves a contrary point of view, so this story was very popular, especially when it gives us good news about our bad habits. See, it's been a rough go for bacon recently. The World Health Organization recently declared that bacon and other processed meats cause cancer, and meat in general has come under fire as a top contributor to climate change. So, meat eaters yesterday were rejoicing at the headlines, including the headlines that lettuce was 3 times worse for the environment than bacon. So, how true is this claim, and the claim that a vegetarian diet is actually worse for the environment than a meat eating diet? What did the researchers actually find? Well, it turns out skepticism is still quite warranted in today's modern world, and clickbait headlines remain king. So, first, let's look at the claim of bacon versus lettuce. The researchers compared the greenhouse gas emissions associated with producing a single calorie of bacon to a single calorie of lettuce. And they did find that lettuce was 3 times more energy intensive. But here's the problem: they were comparing the highest calorie meat product to the lowest calorie vegetable. In other words, if you normally eat 4 slices of bacon per day, you're getting about 468 calories. Now, say you wanted to replace those with 468 calories worth of lettuce. In that case, you might be doing a disservice to the environment. But frankly, you'd also be doing a disservice to your wallet and your jaw muscles. That's a lot of lettuce. Do you know how many cups of lettuce it takes to reach 468 calories? 93. So if you're a vegetarian that swapped out your bacon for lettuce, you technically did make a poor choice for the environment. And you also must have a jaw of steel. But if you're a vegetarian that swapped out those bacon calories for, say, kale, broccoli, rice, potatoes, spinach, or wheat, for example, you'd have made a huge improvement in your environmental impact. Yeah, that's right. While the headlines read lettuce worse than bacon, the same study found that each of those foods I just mentioned, among thousands of other plant foods, are markedly better for the environment than bacon or other meat products. Not to mention, even if lettuce has a higher greenhouse gas emission profile than bacon, it has none of the waste issues that pork has. There are not pools and pools of liquid lettuce feces rotting and fermenting and seeping into local waterways, creating dead zones and poisoning local ecosystems. The same cannot be said for pork, as there are pools and pools of pig feces rotting around the country, causing an environmental catastrophe. Finally, how did we get headlines proclaiming a vegetarian diet is worse for the environment? See, the researchers compared the environmental impact of 3 different diets, and shockingly, none of them were vegetarian. So the study didn't even look at the environmental impact of a vegetarian diet, but the headlines seemed to claim otherwise. What they did look at was the impact of either A, reducing calories in the American diet but keeping the same types of foods, B, keeping total calories the same but switching to the USDA MyPlate diet, or C, reducing calories and switching to a USDA MyPlate diet. And they found that the environmental impact of diets B and C were greater than diet A. And this is largely due to the fact that meeting the USDA requirements would mean increasing the amount of seafood and dairy we consume, both of which have huge environmental impacts. The takeaway from all of this, at best, is to say that not all plant foods are better for the environment than all meat foods. But this also remains true. The vast majority of plant foods are significantly better for the environment than the vast majority of animal foods. And no one should eat 93 cups of lettuce a day. So, you've just been diagnosed with high cholesterol and early stages of heart disease. It's a scary moment, and you and your doctor are going over your options. He suggests you go on a cholesterol-lowering statin drug. What do you think the odds are that this will prevent a heart attack for you?